Greetings. Today we're going to look at a mail merge document, but instead of the basics, we're going to do more advanced features. There are some rules that you can use to conditionally change your letter or your labels, and there's also a thing called field codes where you can change the formatting of the items. So we're going to go and look at how to do 3 different kind of rules and then numeric field codes. Come along and let me show you how it's done. So here we have a letter set up for mail merge. I've used our donor Excel list, and we're going to spend time on the mailings tab. Under rules, we're going to do an if then else, a fill in, and then a skip record if. The final thing we're going to do today is format the actual numbers using something called field codes, so that we can put some currency in. I'm going to go to my first record. The first rule we're going to do is an if then else. Think of your Excel statement. If a condition is met, it will do one thing, otherwise it does something else. And what we're going to do in this letter is if they donated more than $2,000, we're going to say we appreciate your generosity. If the donation is less than $2,000, we're just going to use the words thank you. To do this, we want to go where we want the information to go in the letter. So I'm just going to put my cursor right there. On the mailings tab, we're going to go to rules, then if, then else. Our field name, if we look at this list, this is just the top row in Excel. So I'm going to go ahead and find the amount field. Then we have a comparison. I said it's going to be greater than or equal to, and I'm going to put $2,000. And my text is, so if it is more than $2,000, I'm going to say, we appreciate your generosity. And if it is less than $2,000, I'm just going to put the words thank you. We have our box here. Check, make sure it's all okay. Do an okay. So on this first one, it'll say, we appreciate your generosity. The next person, it just says thank you. You won't really see much of a difference, but if you put your mouse on the field codes, you can see it here. If we were to unpreview, you'd see the name of the field codes, but you don't see anything. You just have to, when you put your mouse on it, you'll be able to see it. The next thing we want to do is many times you'll have a letter that you use, but you need to just change one thing before you send it. And in this case, we're going to ask them to join us for our next performance, but depending when we send the letter will depend on when the next performance date is. So we're going to work on that. Again, make sure your cursor is where you want the text to appear. And on the mailings tab, this time I'm going to go to the rules and choose fill in. The way a fill in occurs is a message will pop up when they go to do the merge. And this is the prompt is the message. So I'm going to say next performance date. And then you have a default text that if you just press enter, this is what will come up. So I'm going to say when our next season begins. There is an option that it can ask for every single record, and that's what would happen if we don't select this ask once, but I'm going to go ahead and select ask once because it'll just ask us once and put the same text in for each letter. So I'm going to look, go ahead and do an okay. When our next performance date, I'm going to say on November 15th, 2025. And just kind of look at your sentence and make sure you have everything that would make sense. So we hope you consider joining us on November 15th, 2025. And that doesn't change each letter that I preview. The last rule we're going to look at is excluding certain records. Now, you can always go into your edit recipient list, you can filter, you can sort, but by setting it up as a rule, you don't have to think, it'll automatically check it. And in our donor list, we actually have a field called preferred contact. We found that some people like to get their thank yous in phone calls, some people like to get them via mail. We are only going to then send a letter to the people who prefer a letter. So we'll notice Amelia prefers a phone call, and then Blake out of our first 6 records. And I'll go ahead and preview so you can see which record we're going to start with Amelia. So I go ahead to the rules, skip record F. On the field I'm going to look for is preferred contact. And if it is equal to phone, we want to skip that record. So ready? Ready? You know, when I pause like this, it's not going to be what we expect. So go ahead and do an okay. And Amelia's record is still there. And that is because skip record F will not take place until you actually do the merge. So I'm going to go ahead to finish and merge. I'll edit my individual documents, all records. I'll do an okay. And this time we'll just do when our next season begins. So here's Anthony's record, Ari's, Benjamin's, Blessings. So the 2 people who had asked for phone calls would be getting a phone call. And you'll notice that this is letter 2. It's a totally different Word document than our actual donor list. Now the last one is probably the one you've been chewing at the bit for. I can't send a letter with the donation amount like that. It just doesn't look right. And formatting in Excel doesn't change it. This comes in as a simple number, so we're going to use field codes. And you can think of field codes as the instructions to tell Word how you want to format something. You can use it with dates and numbers. We're going to do numbers here, and then I'll have another video doing some with dates and numbers. And to do this, we actually have to edit the field codes and look at them themselves. Easiest way to do this is to hold down your Alt key and do an F9. So you can see you have merge fields where you put in. We have our if merge field, our fill in, our skip if. So we're going to be working on this amount one. You always want to make sure you're inside the curly brackets, and the field code comes after the name of the field. So I'm going to put down that slash to say I'm going to be using a field code, and the field code is going to actually be a number. And then in quotation marks, I'm going to show what the code should look like. So if you've ever done any custom formatting in Excel, where you can use a number sign to say, show me a digit if it exists, or a 0 saying, even if this is a 0, please just show me the 0. Same thing. I'm going to do my $sign. If there is a number, show me the number for the thousands place. Then I'm going to say, I don't care, but for the ones place, I definitely want to see, even if it's a 0. And then I want to actually add the decimal and the 2 zeros. To get out of field codes, you're then going to do an Alt and an F9. So as you can see here, you have it now formatted. And if I was to go through the different records, it will show me the numbers as I have asked for it to be formatted. So what we did today, let's go into our rules. We did an if, then, else. We did a fill in, and then we did a skip record F. And then we also added in our field code formatting. Take some time with it, practice it, take care. Best of luck, and I will see you at the next video.